Have you ever noticed how loud the world is? Seriously, try listening sometime. Cars honking, sirens wailing, people yelling into their phones about whatever it is people yell about into their phones. It's enough to make you want to wear earplugs 24/7. We live in a world that glorifies noise. From the moment our alarms blare us awake to the nightly news lull us to sleep, our senses are bombarded. But what if I told you there's a secret weapon to combat this sensory overload? A superpower hiding in plain sight? It's called silence. And no, I don't mean just turning down the volume, I'm talking about a deep internal quietude, a place where the constant chatter of the mind takes a break and you can finally hear, well, you. Ready to unleash your inner magic? Then turn down the volume, folks, it's about to get quiet in here. The funny thing about silence is that it's not always so silent, is it? I mean, sure, the external noise might fade away, but then there's that little voice in your head. That voice loves to chat, doesn't it? Rehashing yesterday's arguments, fretting about tomorrow's to-do list, it's like a never-ending podcast you didn't subscribe to but can't seem to turn off. That, my friends, is the noise within, and it's often louder and more relentless than any external racket. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of thinking, planning, worrying. But beneath that mental noise lies a wellspring of wisdom, creativity, and peace. To tap into it, we first need to learn how to quiet the mind. Think of it like meditation, but without all the incense and chanting. Just you, a quiet corner, and the willingness to simply be. Now you might be thinking, silence? What good is that? I'm supposed to be out there achieving, conquering, doing. And you're right, action is important. But what if I told you that some of the greatest breakthroughs, the most profound insights, come not from doing but from being? See, in the silence we connect with our intuition. We start to hear the whispers of our own wisdom, drowned out before by the din of daily life. It's like clearing out a cluttered attic. Suddenly you find treasures you forgot you had, forgotten dreams, buried passions, a renewed sense of purpose. Silence isn't about becoming a hermit or taking a vow of silence, though no judgment if you do. It's about creating space for yourself in the midst of the chaos, a space where you can breathe, reflect, and reconnect with your inner compass. Look, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds a bit serious, doesn't it? And you're right, it is. But that doesn't mean we can't have a little fun with it. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence and just observed your thoughts? It can be hilarious, all those worries, anxieties, and random thoughts popping up like a bad sitcom. The mind really can be a funny place if you take the time to watch it without judgment. So, go ahead, embrace the awkward silence. Laugh at the absurdity of your own thoughts. Finding humor in the process can make it a lot more enjoyable. Section 5, Finding the Quiet Spaces. Okay, so how do we actually do this silence thing? It's not like you can just walk around with your fingers in your ears all day. Tried it, doesn't work. But there are simple, practical ways to invite more silence into your life. Start small. Take 5 minutes each morning to sit in silence before the day's chaos begins. Leave your phone in the other room. No need to turn it into a whole production with meditation cushions and whale sounds. Unless that's your thing, then go for it. Find moments throughout the day to disconnect. Trade in your usual podcast for a walk in nature, listening to the rustling leaves and chirping birds. Swap scrolling through social media for a few minutes of quiet contemplation. Section 6. The mind is a muscle. Remember, silence is a practice, like learning a new instrument or training for a marathon. Your mind might resist at first. It's used to the constant stimulation, the endless distractions. But just like a muscle, the more you exercise your silence muscle, the stronger it becomes. Start with short bursts of quiet time and gradually increase the duration. Don't get discouraged if your mind wanders. It's what minds do. Gently guide your attention back to the present moment without judgment. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. This is a journey, not a race. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Section 7. Tuning in. Here's the cool part. As you become more comfortable with silence, you'll start to notice a shift within yourself. It's subtle at first, like a whisper in the wind. You might feel calmer, more centered. Your senses may seem heightened. The world might even appear more vibrant. That's because you're tuning in. To yourself, to the world around you, to the present moment. You're shedding layers of mental noise and connecting with a deeper part of yourself. It's like finally tuning your radio to the right frequency after years of static. The music was always there, but now you can finally hear it clearly. Section 8. The Alchemy of Stillness. This is where the real magic happens. In the stillness, we tap into our creative potential. Ideas flow more freely. Solutions to problems we've been grappling with seem to appear out of thin air. We become more intuitive, more insightful. It's like the silence acts as a catalyst, transforming our inner world and in turn, our outer world. We become more patient, more compassionate, more present in our interactions with others. This is the alchemy of silence, the transformation that occurs when we allow ourselves to simply be. Section 9, the magic within. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by the noise of the world, remember this. You possess the power to create your own sanctuary of silence, a space where you can connect with your inner wisdom and unleash your true potential. The magic isn't found in some far-off land or in the hands of a select few. It's within you, always available, waiting to be discovered in the stillness of your own being. Go ahead, embrace the silence. The world and your soul will thank you for it. Or